And so if we can't create a memorable brand experience that helps people feel something, then we'll never make it eventually to that place where we have these loyal, repeat customers.
So if you're wondering, like, man, I wish the phone was ringing, or I wish I was getting more form submissions, like maybe you need to do more than just post your latest video on your Instagram.
Feeling creates connection. Connection inspires loyalty, and loyalty informs action. I learned early on that it's not enough to be good at photography. It's not enough to be good at video, whatever your actual creative pursuit is. You have to be good at a whole lot of other things to really make a business and a life out of this kind of pursuit. In fact, there was a small studio in the town I was living at the time. Business-wise, this guy was killing it. And I would look at his work and I was trying to figure out what the appeal was, because he was really serving a little bit of everyone, and like he didn't really have a niche and there didn't seem to be a particular focus, but his place was hopping. And I mean, he had guys coming in, folks coming in out of the studio all day long. And there I was going, man, I'm really, what's happening here? And so, it really got me starting to think more holistically about what I was doing. And then ultimately when Donald Miller's material came out, and it was really kind of like the glue for everything that I had been learning and experiencing and getting better at, building my own brand, but still struggling with different pieces of it. Finding that glue was really important, because it was the bonding agent that really took messaging as the core piece and brought it all together and helped people understand why what I was offering was worth taking a look at and how it could be useful for what they were trying to accomplish.
So what is that, like, practically speaking, for somebody that's like, well, what does that actually look like? Because my work is really good and I've worked really hard to become an amazing filmmaker, and our stuff looks way better than the competition, although I'm not as busy as I want to be. Like, what are these principles, these things that somebody needs to be thinking, how they should be thinking differently about going to market?
Yeah, absolutely. So first, I think it begins with understanding brand at its core. And, you and I both love Seth Godin, along with, millions of other people, of course, but his definition I have right here. I want to read it because I don't want to mess it up. Seth Godin says a brand is the set of expectations, memories, stories, and relationships that, taken together, account for a consumer's decision to choose one product or service over another. So brand, my thinking early on about brand and how it applied to a creative pursuit was more about, the common mistake that a lot of people make. Well, I have this logo and these colors and these typefaces, and it's kind of cohesive, and hopefully it just represents me pretty well and gives me sort of an umbrella to communicate from under about what it is I do and how I serve people. But really starting to understand that brand is how people feel about what you do. It's their experience with you. And I remember going to this workshop one time in Vegas, and there was a noted photographer, celebrity photographer on stage, and a well-known name. And so people in the audience were asking him, about his success and how he landed where he was and different steps he'd followed. And I think a lot of us were looking for technique or looking for, building blocks of business and all these different things. It's funny because he spent about 15 minutes talking about creating an experience for your customers and how important it was to create an experience that keeps them remembering what it was like to actually work with you, and what it was like not only to see the final product, of course, but then like the whole experience from the time you pick up the phone, the time you respond to an email, the time you have the discovery call, and then start to work through the process of whatever it is you're creating together. That the experience itself had to be thoughtful and curated and deliberate. And so he had no secret sauce at the end. We're always looking for the secret sauce. He's like, the goal is just to keep these people wanting to come back with me because they enjoyed being with me and they liked what I do for them. And again, just another building block in the process for me about what brand thinking is. But, Godin says it so well. It's because it's the combination of people's memories, stories, expectations, and then the final product delivered in with that. That's what makes them choose you again and again. So again, it's not enough to just be good at the one thing. I shoot video, I shoot photo, I whatever, fill in the blank. It's like, but would they work with you again? Do they want to be on set with you again? Do they walk away feeling like, man, it might be kind of cool to get a drink with that guy sometime, or like sit down for coffee, or just, I'm kind of curious what he's about more beyond, the work that we've done together. That's at the core of this entire thing, that brand is all of that combined. And so I think if we apply that then to how we work with clients and understanding who they're serving. I mean, we want to help them. If you're creating a video for a company that tells their story, then that story's really got to make, as you say so well in your tagline, it's got to have soul. It's got to have feeling. There's got to be depth and substance and meaning. And so it can't just look good. It can't just be pretty. It can't just say nice things, and it can't just inform. It's got to do all of that, but ultimately it's got to have enough soul that it connects and makes that audience feel something like, those guys get it. They know what I need. They're here for me somehow, and I think I need to explore that. Whatever the service or product is. If we on the creative end can help our clients accomplish that for theirs, then that's the kind of place where we start to really, really make some impact and, grow our business as well.
Yeah, that's a really powerful idea when we start thinking, because, it's like as good as I think our work is, there are plenty of studios that do it better than us. And if that's the only thing that people, measured to hire, we would never get hired, because there's enough people out there that are way better. I think that statement of like, maybe they hire you once, but will they want to hire you again? What are you like on set? What are all of the what are the nuances? What are your relational skills? What kind of rapport do you try to build? There's all of that, but then there's also, the other part of your brain is like, will they hire you the first time because of the experience that you're creating on your website, your email follow-up, or your lack of, do you have a phone number on your website? Do you make it easy for people to contact you? It's all of those pieces, I think, that stop people from hiring the first time. So if you're wondering, like, man, I wish the phone was ringing, or I wish I was getting more form submissions, like maybe you need to do more than just post your latest video on your Instagram.
That's right. I mean, our default is to say, look, hey, everyone, this is what I do. I'm doing this now. Hire me. I'm good at it. And then we just wait for the inbox to fill up, or the phone to ring. And, it's wild, because I think the people who are really killing it out there are people who are creating a connection. They're helping the people come to their site. They feel something. They see something that moves them. Even if you've directed a piece that has nothing to do with their particular industry, but they see something you've done that was really moving and powerful. It's like, wow, they could do that for me too. But again, it's got to continue from there. So when they email you, do they get a warm response? Do they feel like, oh yeah, it feels like I'm talking to the same guy, And then during the discovery call, is there that connection still happening? I mean, I like to say, like I wrote this down too, feeling creates connection, connection inspires loyalty, and loyalty informs action. So loyalty, we can't jump to loyalty right away. That's marriage. That's not a first date. But the first couple of dates, there's a connection, and that comes from feeling. And so if we can't create a memorable brand experience that helps people feel something, then we'll never make it eventually to that place where we have these loyal repeat customers and brand loyalists who are coming back to us again, not only because we do great work, but because they like being with us, and they walk away feeling good, and we've given them hope.